Hey guys, welcome to another video of Garden Obsession. So today we're going to be planting potatoes in a grow bag, which is great for a small space garden just like ours. One thing about the potatoes I do want to talk about is just a little bit of the nomenclature of the potato. Now, here we have these smaller potatoes. We don't have any of the big Yukon Golds or anything like that. These are some nice small potatoes because, again, there's a carpenter bee just flying at my face. But again, just want to talk about the potatoes. These are smaller potatoes because we're putting them in a grow bag and we have a small space to grow in. So we don't want to grow a whole bunch of potatoes that we're definitely not going to use. We want a couple of potatoes that we're going to have in a container that we're going to be able to use in small batches or small amounts. And it's just to grow them. So we have that experience of growing potatoes. But I do want to talk about the potato. There's three parts to the potato. You have the crown, which is the top where the actual chits are going to grow, and that is the other part of the potato. The chit is actually basically it's the stem where it starts to grow its foliage and starts to make its way up to the top of the containers. And then you have the bottom of the potato, which is called the heel, or some people call it the belly button, from where the actual last potato stem came from. But that's basically the three parts of the potato. Now, the one thing you want to do with potatoes before you actually start planting them, and it's one thing that we did, is we sat them by the windowsill so where they got just enough light to start having these chits start to grow. Now you want to wait for them to get about a ½ inch to an inch. Most of these are pretty much hitting an inch, and that's when it's the right time to start growing these potatoes. With bigger potatoes, what you can do is you'll start having them grow all over the place because it is a bigger potato. And what you can do is you can chop those right in half, and as long as you have two of these chits on any one of those pieces, you can grow them that way. What you also want to do is when you do chop them in half is give it a couple days for it to heal over that fleshy part of the potato so the moisture stops coming out of it, and then you can start putting that in the container. All right, so now I got to clean my mess up before I start getting this going, and the wind is picking up, which makes it even better.
It's helping you.
Helping me. All right, so what I have here is a 7-gallon grow bag, and it has a little access window here, so, you know, I can check on them because I'm a very impatient person when it comes to like seedlings and vegetables and stuff like that. But you probably don't want to mess with them too much. But it's a 7-gallon grow bag container that we have here. I'm using Espoma potting soil, and the reason I'm using potting soil in a container is because with potatoes, you want to have a very, very loamy soil because you want them to actually expand. If you have a soil, same thing goes for carrots, with potatoes or carrots, that compacts too much, then you're not going to get a big harvest, or actually you're going to get a harvest. You're just not going to get a potato much bigger than this seedling potato right here. And going back to that, when it comes to growing potatoes, you do want to use seedling potatoes that you can find at the local nursery, or you can go to one of the big box stores where they actually sell them. That's where I got these. You want to use those type of seedling potatoes. Unless you've grown them already for one season, then you can use those potatoes that you grew as seedlings for your next harvest of potatoes. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add some biotone in here for those roots when those potatoes start to put out some roots. Get all that out of there real quick. Now I filled it up maybe about halfway. That's where I want to set my potatoes in. And I'm going to turn this way to this camera right here so I can actually show you how I'm going to do it. So these are actually going to go facing up. I'm just going to go just like that. Now with the smaller container, there's not much room when you actually put them in the ground. You're going to want to separate them about 8 inches apart, but with this, I'm just going to put them just like that there. And once you have those chits facing up just like that, you're going to go ahead and put about 4 to 6 inches of soil right on top of there. All right, and that's it. I got about 4 to 6 inches of soil covering my potato seedlings there. What we're gonna do is put this in a nice sunny area, give it plenty of water throughout the season, and we'll come back in a couple months when it's time to harvest to show you guys what we actually get from this. We'll actually do some videos in between there just to give you an update of what they look like. Maybe I'll open a side panel here and there just to show you guys if there's any potatoes actually forming, which will be really exciting to see. So I'm very excited to get these potatoes going real quick and easy for a small space garden, perfect size, nothing big. Now what I'll start to do is as these chits or foliage actually starts to shoot up from this soil, I'll start filling it up little by little with more soil until I reach nearly the top. I want to stay maybe about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the top, but I want to just keep gradually putting soil as that foliage starts to grow. Now, when do you know when it's time to harvest your potatoes? It's when that foliage starts to die back. It's when you'll know that your potatoes are ready to be harvested. But again, we'll be checking on this guy periodically throughout the season, and then we'll come back at the end and do a video of how to harvest these potatoes. But that's gonna do it for the video, guys. A real quick and easy planting potatoes in a grow bag. We'll see you guys in the next video. Ice cream truck. Ice cream truck.
Where did you go?
I went to go get an ice cream real quick because the ice cream truck was passing. Yes, I said the word shit.